Okay, so hi, I'm Phil Harper from Deaf Sports Australia. We're here today because I want you to meet a good friend, Joe Monteleone. We're having a chat with Joe because in 2 weeks' time we are celebrating National Deafblind Awareness Week from the 23rd to the 29th of June. I want to make sure that we include and support our deafblind community as well. So I want to welcome Joe here. Hi, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Joe and I have type 1 ushers. I was born deaf and grew up deaf. At around 30 years of age, my vision started to decrease. I have a circle vision with some black spots inside of this. And at night time, my vision is poor and I cannot see that well. I have a family. My wife is deaf and I have two hearing children. My daughter is 28 and my son is 26 and they're all grown up now. What kind of activities do I do? Well, I retired from work 10 years ago and now I do some work in printmaking and sculpture, and that work keeps me busy. It's really good for my mental health. I love doing and making art. Wow, it keeps you busy. I love that print in the background. Thank you. Yes, that's mine. How did you make that? Because you're vision loss. How is that
So in the
possible?
past, I tried painting, but I found it difficult because it's not particularly tactile. And then I started to do lino engraving and sculpture because it's more tactile. I can feel movement around the work. I can feel the 3D shape of around the sculpture and can more easily fix and shape it. Painting and drawing was too plain and flat. I didn't enjoy it. I had no passion for it. But once I started sculpture and engraving, I loved it. Now I have my own studio at the back, and this work keeps me busy. I love doing my lino work and sculpture.
Wow, that is fantastic. Brilliant. How do you keep active? Do you do activities such as walking or sport? Because you're working at home making your sculpture work, but what about your fitness? How do you manage that?
Yes, I realized I needed a good balance to help me focus on my artwork. I can't make art 24/7. I needed little breaks. So I started to take breaks and I'd go walking. I love bushwalking. It helps me switch my mind off and keeps me at peace. And a little before COVID, I went to Papua New Guinea on the Kokoda Trail Walk with a very lovely man, Phil. It was a great experience. Over 10 days walking, it was extremely emotional and an outstanding experience.
And sport. Do you play sport or do you love sports? What's your favorite sport?
I grew up in Sydney, and in Sydney, the most popular sport is rugby league and rugby union. It's in my blood. I grew up. I love it. Growing up watching those games, I was regularly following the games and loved it. But then I moved to Melbourne and got married, and I found out here it's all about AFL. So I had to learn about AFL, and I enjoy watching it. But still, my passion is rugby league and rugby union because that's where I come from.
So, do you have a favorite rugby union team or NRL team? Who's your favorite team?
Growing up, I was a Sydney Roosters supporter. But then I moved to Melbourne, and there weren't any teams here. Then Melbourne Storm was established. So for 25 years, I've been a member of the Melbourne Storm. It's marvelous. I still enjoy it today.
You're a member of the Melbourne Storm and you attend matches. How do you see the game? What support do you have?
Oh, it's a good question. I used to use binoculars, but they were very heavy and very tiring, and I would get sore. I know I have trouble with my vision, so I was trying to work out a solution. I went to Vision Australia and I asked if they could help me solve the problem. They found me a good pair of glasses. I'll show you them. You can see the lenses here,
How do they
and they
work?
have dials on the side. I put them on, and I didn't need heavy binoculars for the 2 hours of a game. I can just relax. Vision Australia have been absolutely wonderful to match my needs. I can just adjust them on the side, and I don't have to use binoculars anymore. Oh, they're lovely. I'll show you. See, as I put them on, see, I can adjust the side here, and that gives me a range and depth of vision that I need. You can see it's like two pairs of glasses in one. It's amazing. They're very new, and I don't have to use any more heavy binoculars, which is wonderful. I can relax and watch the game without any soreness in my back. They're just beautiful. The glasses, they're actually made in Germany. They're very expensive, but Vision Australia ordered them for me.
And you also play rugby union and rugby league. Is that right? How do you do that?
Yes, that's a good question. 40 years ago in Sydney, I joined a rugby league cup, but it was a different culture, and they were always ignoring me because I was deaf. They took advantage of me because I was disabled, and I was sitting on the bench and never got to play the game. So I pulled out of that team and I joined a rugby union club, and it was great. It didn't matter whether you were deaf or disabled, they welcomed me and invited me to join them. I felt more engaged in the play and they taught me really well. I played for 10 years in rugby union and then I retired. After that, there was no sport for quite a while, but just before COVID, I went with my communication guide to watch the Victorian Masters Rugby Union Club. And they were playing against a deaf rugby team. It wasn't rugby league, this was rugby union, the rugby union deaf team. I really enjoyed watching the game. And there was a man who saw me signing and he said, "You want to run?" And puzzled, I asked, "What do you mean?" I told him I had trouble with my eyes. The man said, "It doesn't matter, come along." So they gave me rugby gear to put on, and I just loved playing with them. And how did we play? Well, they changed the rules. When I play rugby, I can only run in straight line. And if someone bumps or tackles me from the front, that's okay. But no one is allowed to touch me from the sides or the back because that's not in my field of vision. I can only see a tunnel vision what's in front of me. Due to my Usher syndrome, no one is allowed to tackle me from the sides, and the players could recognize who I was because they gave me these yellow armbands. They gave me to put on both my arms. So everyone knew about the rules for me. Only the person in front of me was allowed to touch me or tackle me, and I love it. The Victorian Masters team are very welcoming and treat me the same as others, not as a deaf-blind person. I'm still involved after 4 years.
Brilliant.
I want to show you something. I've got my rugby top here.
Wow.
Can you see it?
Yes, yes, I can see it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I love it. I can be sore after a game, and I know it is a risk for me, but I love it. It's where I came from.
It's your passion.
Yes, it's my passion. It's also great for my mental health, feeling included and socializing. I have an interpreter with me as well as a communication guide, which gives me good access to the community, so I truly love it.
It's a good example of how inclusion works. Having support, making adaptation and changes in the game to make sure you're included, having interpreter and communication guide, plus the yellow armbands to show the players who you are and they can follow those rules so that you can participate equally. Most other sports participation, there are barriers.
but your experience shows a good example of how inclusion can
I was
work.
determined to find a solution and work with the club to make things more smooth. I feel 100% included and I love it, and they are very comfortable with me.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree about mental health being important to participation in sport, helping relieve stress or anxiety so that you can forget about worries and relax and enjoy yourself. You believe that it's positive for you?
Yes, I agree. Yes, it helps me sleep well and gives me a good balance. Being part of the deaf, blind, and the hearing worlds. Now I can participate in all three communities. Mental health is really important.
Brilliant. And thank you for sharing. And it's been great to have a chat with you. And I'm sure the people viewing this video have been interested to learn how sport can be made accessible and inclusive with the support of community and clubs, and how the community and clubs can support participants. It's great. Thank you, Joe.
I agree. It is important. It's a really good example.
Thank you for your time and keep in touch.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, and thank you for having me. And good luck for the Australian Deaf Games on the Sunshine Coast soon, right? Yes, next year,
Right, next year,
2026.
2026. Yes, 2026.
Yes, good luck to you all. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Joe.